Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be looking at missing values with R and the tidyverse. Let's get started. So first off, let's make sure and grab our library and tidyverse in here, and let's kind of give a quick discussion about what missing values are, okay? So not applicable numbers. Sometimes they are just missing observations. Sometimes there's actually no data at all. Sometimes it's corrupted data of some sort, okay? Now, again, you've probably also maybe encountered some unusual values in our data set, okay? Now, maybe we simply just want to move the rest of and move on for the rest of our analysis, okay? So, for example, in the previous video, okay, we had some unusual values with our data set, and I believe I still have that here. Whoops. Outliers. So notice here we actually had some values in here that were definitely not good, okay? So things smaller than 4 or smaller than 3 and were greater than 20. These were outliers. Again, notice these values here didn't have any measurements whatsoever. And we had some values in here that just had, these were size of diamonds, okay? So 32 millimeters, 39 millimeters, or 59 millimeters. Impossible sizes. They're probably corrupted data or erroneous in some way. And we kind of just want to move on with our analysis. Maybe we can put them back in at a later date when we get the corrected results. But we just want to move on with our lives. So let's do this and call this diamonds 2. And we are going to grab our diamonds data, okay? And we are going to filter this out, and we want things between. Here, y is 3 and 20, okay? So we're grabbing everything between those two numbers. So we're excluding everything else. Now, here's the thing. Don't do this, okay? Again, just because the measurements is invalid, it doesn't necessarily mean all the measurements are technically invalid, okay? Now, additionally, we do have some, maybe if you do have low quality data, by the time you do this, you may have actually just gotten rid of everything, okay? Again, this is always a kind of a double-edged sword with what you're wanting to do, but you're gonna have to take it in stride, okay? So, but I would recommend, okay, I recommend you don't do this. So instead, okay, I would do something like creating missing values. Okay, you're actually creating them yourself. So this would be using the mutate and the if-else function. So let's go on and replace those these weird values, okay, that we had before with missing values that we've copied off from somewhere. So let's, I'm actually just going to call this diamonds 2 again. And what we're going to do is grab diamonds here, and we want to mutate this, and we want y here is going to be if-else. Now this if-else is fantastic because we actually are just doing an if-else statement. Y is less than 3 here, or y is greater than 20. So if that is true, we want to give it an NA, okay, or a missing value. And then else, we're just going to give it the value of y. And what happened here? Oh, okay. So what you actually also have to do, and I forgot to put this in here, is you have to put this whole thing in here in brackets, or not in brackets, in parentheses, okay? Because it actually has to evaluate this whole thing as 1, okay? And then we can run. Well, let me clear this real quick. Let me retype that out. Something messed up here. So let me go do diamonds 2, and we have, oh, you know what? Diamonds 2, we want diamonds, we want to mutate. Y is going to be here if else. We want y is less than 3. Whoop. Y is less than 3, or y is greater than 20. Good. NA, Y. There we go. Okay, so I must have just mistyped something in there before. So now if we actually look at this, and I'll do, just look at this. You know what, let me actually just discuss this really quickly. So this if, else. Let's actually go in and look at the help section in here. So this is, we can call this conditional element selection, if else statements. Now what you do is you have a test condition or a conditional statement. So for example, y is less than 3. Now what that happens is if that is true, if yes, okay, do this. Else, if no, do this other thing. So in our instance, if our y vector here is less than 3 or y is greater than 20, so anytime this condition is true, give us a non-applicable or a missing value. Otherwise, go on and replay and keep that y value. Okay, so that is going to do what we want for us, and we can actually, we'll see here that this is actually do this. Now there's a couple other ways you can also use the case when as well. So let me show that as well. Okay, and again, this is more of very similar to the SQL using case statements as well. Okay, and so you can use very similar syntax. Okay, so you can do multiple cases in each of these, and again, it's kind of useful, particularly if you're used to SQL syntax. So again, you guys can feel free to use whichever one you want. I usually like to stick with our if else statement because it's pretty nice. But if you have a bunch of cases and you're going to be doing, like, for example, a lot of if else's or something like that, I would move on to the case when to be very explicit. So let's actually see what happened then with our data now, and we'll do our diamonds too. Mapping here. Our static x is going to equal x, y is equal to y here, and we want a geom point. And what we'll see here is we're going to get a warning, okay? Notice here, removed 9 rows containing missing values. So it actually went on and removed our missing values for us, and we are able to get our plots out there. Notice now we still have another outlier in here for some reason. And so my guess is that it's a very small x value. So again, maybe you need to check this one as well for an outlier similarly. Now, if you don't want this error popping up, okay, all you have to do is inside of Geom Point, do na.rm is equal to true. Okay, and you still get the same plot. Now, again, other times, okay, you want to understand what's making these observations missing values, okay? So let's maybe look at our NYC Flights data and actually take a look and maybe want to investigate why there's missing data, okay? Because sometimes, here's the thing, sometimes the missing values are sometimes the most interesting. So what do we have here? So we're going to look at let me glimpse out here the NYC Flights 13. NYC Flights, and I want to glimpse this. So here we have actually 2013 data, okay, from New York City airport flights data. We have, for example, the year, the month, the day, the departure time, the scheduled departure time, the delay time, the arrival time, the distance, destination, origin, flight tail number, minute, hour, time, hour. It has all kinds of nice data in there. And so let's actually go through and see anything about this data that we can find, okay? So NYC Flights, we want our, NYC flights with our flights data, and we want to actually look at, whoops. Okay, let me clear that again. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So we have our NYC Flights data. We want to mutate the data. And let's see here about, well, whoops. Let me actually go back and clear that one more time. And let's do our canceled. We're creating a new data, and that's is_NA in here, and it's the depart time. Okay, and now the reason I'm doing this and going through this is because I actually know the reasoning behind what an NA value actually means. Okay, so in this NYC Flights data set, okay, missing values in the departure time variable indicate the flight was canceled. Okay, but we don't have that particular variable, so we want to actually have that canceled data. Okay, so we want a variable called canceled. So again, we're going to compare maybe the scheduled flight times to the canceled and the non-canceled times, and this could give us. We're going to be using the is_NA function with this. So another one here. Let's do scheduled. What was that? Scheduled hour. Okay, we'll do scheduled depart time, and we want integer division by 100. We want the scheduled minute here, and this would be the scheduled depart time here, and we want, whoops, the mod operator in here by 100, and then we'll do the scheduled scheduled departure time here is going to be the scheduled minute plus the scheduled hour divided by 60. And then we're going to do a GG, you know what? Whoa. All right, let me do this one more time. I'm not having a good day today on this. So flights here, we can do mutate, and we do something like canceled. Here is going to be is_NA, our departure time. We can have our scheduled, here our hour. Departure time here. And again, we want floor division by 100. Then we have the scheduled minute in here, which is the scheduled departure time here. And we want the mod, or the remainder of 100. Then we have in here the scheduled depart time itself is the scheduled hour plus the scheduled minute divided by 60 here. And then we want ggplot in here, mapping, our aesthetic here, we want the scheduled depart time, plus we want a geom frequency poly. Mapping in here, we want our aesthetic mapping. Our color in here is going to be our canceled. Canceled. And then we want our bandwidth. Bandwidth here is going to be 1/4. No, and let me pull this out. And notice what we see here is that this isn't great Okay, because again, there's not a lot of there's a lot more non-canceled flights than there are flights. What we would probably want to do is do a little bit of variation, maybe split this up and actually look and see if there's something going on in here. But otherwise, that is one way to gain information from your missing values. If you guys like this, please hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.